there. Welcome back to another episode of Decide to Heal. I'm Alejandra Crisafulli, master coach and founder of the 180 Method, and someone who has spent years trying to perform healing before I learned how to actually live it. And today's episode, while it might ruffle some feathers, and I'm okay with that because we're not here to stay comfortable. We're here to heal, like for real. So we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most, I'd say, celebrated self-help tools out there. Definitely one of the most that you hear quite often, regardless of what you're looking at. Any kind of traditional self-help model really celebrates and focuses on this specific tool, which is affirmations. But we're not just here to talk about affirmations. We are going to be exposing why they don't work long term. We're going to explore what the Bible has to say about affirmations, and more specifically, healing, surrender, and transformation. Because anyone in self-help, seeking self-help, is looking for transformation. Are you struggling with self-doubt, second-guessing your every move, no matter how much success that you achieve? Because just deep down, nothing you've done to heal has ever felt like enough. Do you want to quit that cycle and get coached live on Decide to Heal? Because in 45 minutes or less, I can help you identify the root cause of the problem you are dealing with and give you not just practical, but long-term changes that you can implement as soon as we're done. This is completely free of charge, and all you have to do is fill out the application in the description below. So I just want to say, this isn't about bashing anyone's practice, okay? If you've used affirmations and you've loved them, or maybe you still use them, please know that this isn't judgment. This is just truth in love. Because God isn't calling us to manage our thoughts. He's calling us to surrender our hearts. In the world of mindset work, affirmations, they're everywhere. Dr. Joe Dispenza says they help rewire the brain. Louise Hayes built an entire empire, like a movement basically, around the idea that you can heal your life by changing your words. And yes, language is powerful, but it is not the end all be all. And to be fair, there is truth to the fact that yes, our words shape our thoughts, but there's a problem to this. So here's the problem. Affirmations focus on external change without addressing the internal wounds. They often become like something you're grasping for. It's a tool you grasp for, a way to try and feel in control, to create safety through repetition. But safety doesn't come from your words. Safety comes from being rooted in the one who never changes. Jesus never once handed someone a positive mantra. He never said, repeat this 10 times a day. I am healed. I am healed. He didn't say that. What did he say? He said, your faith has made you well. I can't tell you how many scriptures talk about your faith healed you. When he's saying your faith has healed you, because of your faith, you have been healed. Matthew 9:27, Luke 17:29, Mark 10:52, just to name a few, talk about this. Faith is not a formula. It's what brings healing. And here's where affirmations fall short. They bypass faith and surrender as well as trust and place the burden of healing on you. So if you say it enough times, believe it hard enough, control your thoughts, then you'll have this incredible life and these incredible experiences. No. In Romans 8:6, it says, the mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. Affirmations ask your flesh to do the work, but the Spirit brings true transformation. Let's go deeper into this. Affirmations may shift a surface thought temporarily, but they do not heal the trauma or the trigger buried beneath. What they really do is help you deal, not heal. Dealing looks like monitoring your mindset all day long, silencing emotions that don't quote unquote align with the positive statements you're trying to tell yourself, repeating words while your nervous system is screaming, I'm not safe, I'm not safe. And all of this is exhausting. That is the experience of it. It's an exhaustion. Affirmations often feel like it's a spiritual thing you're doing, you're a spiritual performance. You say things like, I am enough, or I am worthy, or I am safe. But deep down, you don't believe it. So you repeat it harder, louder, more consistently. That is not freedom, my friend. That is self-managed survival. Now, within the 180 method, we teach that true healing comes from facing the trigger and actually healing what triggers the behavior, the thought patterns in the first place, not managing the behavior. So much self-help is about managing behavior. This is where affirmations come into play. We go into the root. So we get to the source, the center, the root of what is causing the pain, the hardship, the hijacks in your life in the first place. And when you create healing at that root level, you don't just reframe the fruit, you actually heal the source. And the result is transformation. Now, here's the kicker. Affirmations never actually call for surrender. They don't. It's more control, actually. But surrender is the very heart of healing. Surrendering says, God, I can't control this. I can't fix myself. I release it to you. That's why in Matthew 6:33, Jesus doesn't say, speak the words and you'll be healed. He says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you. Healing follows surrender, not effort, not positivity, but seeking his kingdom. So let me be clear. I'm not saying affirmations never have impact. Sometimes, especially at the beginning of maybe your healing journey, they give us a language for hope. They offer a doorway out of despair and into something better. But we must ask, are they leading you into deeper truth or just distracting you from deeper pain? Because even Jesus addressed the danger of appearance over substance. He warned the Pharisees many times throughout scriptures. Specifically, one place is Matthew 23:27, where he said, you are like the whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of bones of the dead. Eesh, ouch, right? That's what affirmations can become. They're like a whitewashed tomb. Pretty words on the outside, but on the inside, we're still ruled by fear, by shame, and just pure survival. And what makes it worse? Well, when they stop working, we blame ourselves. We must not believe enough. I must not believe enough. I must not be saying it right. Maybe I'm just broken. But I'm not broken, and nor are you broken. You're just being invited into something deeper. God isn't asking you to repeat affirmations. He's asking you to walk in the Spirit. That's how we move from the old self. That's the ego that edges God out. That's our flesh. That's our human self. The one that's grasping, the one that's overworking, the one that's performing itself into the new self. That's what we want. The new self, which is the being, the one that is directly connected to him, made in his image. That new self is what's rooted in peace and truth and grace. And that's where real healing can happen. It's like the surrendering of the old self melds into the surrendering of the new self, which can only be new through him, because we are rooted in that peace and that truth and not being run by past wounds, past traumas that continue to hijack your present experiences. Jesus never handed out affirmations. You never see that. Yeah, if you really dive deep, you're seeing like he's not saying something affirmationally. He healed through relationship, through faith, through surrender, through trust. And that relationship was deeply and intimately ingrained within him and who he declared he is. That's how he healed. So that's when he says, you of little faith, why do you fear, kind of thing. It's like, or when he's got countless of these accounts of talking about it's your faith that has healed you, it's because in that relationship with him, through him, healing has happened. And that takes a whole lot of trust and surrender to do. Let's look at one of the scriptures that I really like to help shine a light on this. And it's in Matthew 9, where Jesus is talking about the blind men. Jesus didn't heal them and say, now go affirm this every day. He said, according to your faith, let it be done to you. The healing wasn't based on his ability. It was based on their faith to receive him. Did you catch that distinction? You know, I love distinctions. If you haven't heard some of my episodes, you will know I do love distinctions. And if you haven't heard those, well, now you know I love distinctions. And this was a very important distinction, that healing wasn't, what did I say? Healing wasn't based in his ability, Jesus' ability. It was based in the faith of the people, the faith that they had in him to receive the healing. You follow me there? That's why Luke 17:6 says, if you had faith like a mustard seed. Oh, God, I love that scripture. I actually have it right here on one of my, if you're seeing on YouTube, I have my mustard seed picture right here on my desk. And if you aren't watching on YouTube, I have this little card I just showed that has my mustard seed to remind me that it is my faith that heals. And if I just have faith like a mustard seed, not just tiny faith, but faith with trust inside of it, the kind of faith that knows it must be made to grow, to heal, to become something more, because that little seed is made to become something more. You see, healing isn't about performance. It's about agreement. God says you're whole. Will you agree with him? Not just in your words, but in your willingness to surrender. Ephesians 5 walks us through this transformation beautifully. It says to take off the old self. So again, that's that human part, that ego part, the one that's grasping for control and for some kind of image. And he tells us to put on the new self. So again, that's the one that is the being, the one that is directly connected to God, which is governed by the Spirit, not the flesh. We don't need more mantras. We need to expose the darkness. We need to renew our minds and walk in the light. And here's the truth. God doesn't want your performance. He wants your presence, not affirmations, but obedience, surrender, and faith, because healing isn't something you declare just into existence. It's something you receive through faith and walk out in trust. So if affirmations have ever left you tired, if you've ever wondered why they work for others but not for you, let me tell you, it's not that you're doing them wrong or you need to try harder. You're just being invited into something deeper. You don't need to control your thoughts to be healed. You need to release control and let God renew your mind. This is the difference between managing symptoms and experiencing freedom, between dealing and healing. So if you're ready, my friend, to like really stop the striving, if you've seen that these affirmations don't work, if you're ready to stop saying, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, and having countless journals with this one statement written again and again and again and still feeling stuck, and you want to actually start believing it because of what he says about you, then beautiful. I am here to support you. What I'm going to invite you to do is go visit me on Instagram. I'm at the Baller Coach. That's my handle, the Baller Coach. You can also find me just by searching Alejandra Crisafulli. But what I want you to do is go visit me over there. Follow me if you don't follow me, but DM me the word heal on Instagram. And what we'll do is we'll book a 180 method complimentary coaching session. And we'll just walk through the first step of real spirit-led, God-anchored healing. Because you weren't created to affirm your way to peace. You were created to walk in it. All right. So thank you. I appreciate being with you and getting to share this with you. And I know, sometimes these conversations, they're short, but hopefully impactful for you, and that you take them with you throughout your weeks. And if you found value in this, please share this with someone, like it, download it. It really supports to get more of this message out through the decision of healing and bringing God back into the center of it, so that none of us have to continue dealing and continuing to invest thousands of hours, dollars into traditional self-help methods that really don't help, long-term at least. So I love you, my friend. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next episode of Decide to Heal. Bye.